Hello friends, welcome to Gardening with Creekside. I am Jenny and today we are going to spend a little bit of time on the front porch. You can see behind me I've got a couple of plants over my shoulder and I have an empty aquapot. We are going to get the aquapot filled with some shade-loving, heat-tolerant plants that do really well and be our high performers all season long. So on our front porch, this pot will never get any direct sun. You can see that we have a pretty significant as far as the depth of our porch. So of course it will not get rained on. That is why an aquapot is perfect for this spot, because it is that self-watering container. And really I only have to fill this one up because it is in the shade, maybe like even once every 2 to 3 weeks. So it is very rare that I have to fill this up. Again, I've got a whole little fun plethora of plants right behind me that we are going to use, and we are going to pot up a fern, just do all sorts of fun things here on the front porch. I'm trying to beat the sun before it hits, because the sun does set right over here, but it never hits this like the back of my porch, but it gets a lot of bright light. So what we're going to use are plants that are considered shade loving, because remember, shade is 4 hours or less of sun, and this will be perfect plants for here. We're going to use some annuals, some perennials, some caladiums, all sorts of fun things in here. So without further ado, we are first going to pot up the Boston fern. A couple of y'all gave me some great tips when Kata and I were potting up the mangaves and we were struggling a little bit, and y'all gave me some tips. So we're going to put that into practice right quick. So let's get that Boston fern potted up. Okay guys, so I have the Polaris here in the front yard because it's going to act as a table for me. I have just a beautiful traditional ceramic glaze pot. This is one that we carry from Michael Carr, and I chose to go with white. That way it will really kind of pop on our front porch, because we do have a dark gray house, and with kind of, it's technically Charleston green trim. It is not black, it is Charleston green. If you are from Charleston, or have ever visited Charleston, you know how kind of famous the old Charleston green color is. What I have here is just a regular, good old traditional Boston fern that is in a hanging basket. I think this may have been like the last one that we had at the nursery. Man, she was looking pretty. So I said, I think I'll just take this last little orphan home with me, and I will pot her up and put her in a container. So what I just did is I snapped off the hanger of the hanging basket. Again, ceramic glaze pot. This pot is probably, it may be 14 inches. It's either 12 or 14 inches in diameter, probably 14 inches tall. And in the bottom of it, I have my 1/3 of the Land and Sea compost, because that's that little trick we found out last year, and it works fantastically well. Now, the trick that my lovely viewers gave me was to take my pot. So I have this Boston fern in the pot. I'm going to go ahead and take the fern out of the pot and then use the pot to make a form, so I don't have a hard time putting potting soil back into the container. Now, what's going to be fun is to get this Boston fern out of the container, because I would suspect that it's got a pretty healthy root system. So just go ahead and manhandle it, beat it up a little bit, and what that does is it loosens the roots so that your pot will relatively slide off well. All right, so I have my fern, right? I don't really need to break up that root system. The roots are more on the outside instead of the bottom. So for now, I'm just going to set this off to the side, and I'm going to use my pot to form where it goes. So according to you people, is that I'm going to take some of the potting soil first, because I need to raise up the bottom end of it. All right. Remember, whenever you're doing containers, I preach that you always need to start with fresh soil each growing season, because it just makes a world of difference, especially when I have a plant like this fern. By the end of the season, it is going to be completely, I don't want to say root bound, but it's going to fill up this entire pot with its root system. So start all the way brand new, fresh soil. Don't use any fillers, don't use plastic bottles, don't use packing peanuts. Those do nothing for your plants. They don't retain water. The roots cannot use them as a source of food. So use high quality potting soil, fill it up each growing season, and you're gonna have gorgeous plants. So what I've done is I've taken the pot and I've just put it inside, and I'm pressing down really firm with the potting soil, and you will see that I still have a rim here that needs to be the potting soil. So traditionally, the way I would plant is that would be the root ball, and then I'm having to kind of, quote, fight the fern to get the potting soil around the edge. But this way, even if I get some inside of the black pot, it's not that big of a deal, because I can just take it out. You know, when I take the pot out, take it out and then add it back to the bag for another container. So I'm just going to go around and pack. I think the key is going to be is that you have to pack it really well, because if the soil is loose when you take out this black pot, it's just going to it's just going to fall right back down, and you're not going to have that form. So we're going to pack it really nicely in there, and then the idea is that the fern will just slip down into this form that the black pot is giving us. That's the thing about gardening, is that even if you have a YouTube channel, and even if you own a nursery, if you're here on this planet, you're still able to learn, right? Don't think that somebody has truly mastered, you know, all the tricks and trades of doing something. We are constantly learning. If you're not learning, then there's a problem. So that's what's so great about these communities, is that we can share ideas and experiences with one another. I learn from you, you learn from me, you learn from each other, and hey, that's what makes this community so great and wonderful, is that we're constantly sharing ideas with one another and learning together, because yeah, it's great. Okay, so we're pretty much there. I don't want to go too high, because I am packing it, and when I water this, I don't want the water and the soil to kind of overflow. So I am going to leave it a little bit, the soil a little bit below the white pot rim. That way I have the room for the water to fill up. All right, we're going to see how this does. Gently. Okay, so far so good. I can't tilt the pot, because if I tilt the pot, then all my soil will fall over. So I have a beautiful, perfect form right here. So without knocking anything, I'm going to grab my fern. Again, I'm not worried about breaking up the root ball, because it's not super extensive. Squeeze it down in there. You people are geniuses, I say. Absolute genius. So I don't need to do anything, because I mean, it is snug in there and very, very happy. So what we're going to do is take this sweet thing up to the porch and get her settled. I want to share with you a little product that I found that has made my life with containers a little bit easier and less messy. All right, so I got the fern over here in front of the window on the end of the porch. What I wanted to share with you are these great little black rubber squares. I guess they're rubber. I got them off of Amazon, and the thing is they come in all different sizes. So what y'all have to do is just lift up your pot and then just slide them under. I'm using 3. I typically use it kind of in a little bit of a triangle formation. And what I love about these is that they essentially disappear underneath your pot. So it's just like your pot is just ever so slightly floating above the ground. So you don't see the terracotta feet, the risers. You don't see them. It just looks like your pot is just ever so slightly floating on the ground. People probably won't even notice that it's not touching the ground, but it just aids in the drainage. You don't have little bugs going up into there. You don't have soil getting stuck under there. It just makes it a little easier, a little nicer. I will try to find these back on Amazon. I got these, gosh, a couple of years ago. I'll try to find them and link them on our Amazon store. So just check out the video description, click on our Amazon store, and hopefully I will have them linked for you there. If not, I will find a comparable product and put it in there for you. But they're great and literally last for years and years and years and years. So the fern is in. Now on to the aquapot. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna fill up this magnificent, beautiful aquapot. This aquapot is the companion piece to the aquapots that are at the pergola. So when we got those are part of the commercial line of aquapots. Those were the large, this is the medium, and then there were two small that came with that pallet as well. Those we sold to customers. The twin of this aquapot is at the gate. So that kind of gives you an idea. Love this pot, it is fantastic. I even leave it out in the wintertime. I will just simply tip it and drain the water out, and it does great. Obviously, this is a really big aquapot, and it is on the front porch. I don't want to carry it up and down. So because we're under this great porch roof, I don't have to worry about it getting rained on or snow or anything like that. So I just tip all the water out and then just let it sit. So I don't have to worry about it cracking. What we're gonna do, again, lots of fun shade things. I've got all my plants kind of down here at my feet. I don't have an exact order of where I'm gonna place them. I have a general idea. The first, kind of the main centerpiece is going to be this Pegasus begonia. And Pegasus begonia is strictly for really the foliage. It will get 18 inches tall and wide. And if it's in a happy location, I have found that it will get even bigger. So we're gonna have lots of height and fullness in this Pegasus, and we're gonna stick it more towards the back because obviously I have a wall right here. I'm not gonna be looking at this all the way around. If I were gonna see this pot from like 360 degrees, I would put it in the center, but today we're just gonna stick it basically in the back. This is the front. They do have, of course, Michael Carr puts his little nameplate on there. But a trick for you folks, if you have aquapots, because right here is the drain tube, I didn't set it straight in the back. I offset it a little bit because my hose is behind me. So I'll be coming from that direction. So it'll be easier to get the hose in just right here as opposed to any other location. You can decide where you want your your fill tube to be. So I kind of put it off to the side that is closest to my hose. Just gonna lightly loosen the roots here a little bit, not a terrible bit, just a little bit. But Pegasus is really fun because it has that really serrated foliage to it. The stems have a little bit of a reddish pinkish hue. When the new leaves emerge, they are in that, still have that kind of that reddish hue to them. So we'll have all sorts of great colors, and then as they mature, they take on a nice dark green with silver flecks in it. So you're gonna have lots of different colors within this, and again, it will get nice and tall and full. So this is gonna be my centerpiece. Off to trying to decide, okay, let me show you what I have. I've got two plants, two very different plants, but that have similar characteristics in as far as their coloring. So here I have Snowdrift Caladium. This is a Proven Winners Caladium meant specifically for the shade. So this will work perfectly here. Tons of white in it with that nice dark green veins and a little fleck of pink up near the top. But it mostly is that white. I want the white because we are on this dark front porch. So I don't know if I might put the Caladium on this side, and then I have for the other side with that same coloring that is the dark green in the center and then the white edging. This is a perennial grass. This is Feather Falls variegated sedge. It is a carex. It is hardy in zones 5 to 9 and it is a shade grass. But what's fun about Feather Falls is that it will trail. So it makes a fantastic container component, or you can do a hanging basket with them. Really nice. So I'm trying to think, I might want to put it on this side, put the caladium on this side. This is how I go through my brain, y'all, because let me show you something else. Then I've got two more components that are a little bit of a trailer. I have the lamian. This is still the same lamian that I used on the back porch in that container that had the ferns and the hosta. This is white Nancy. It is, lamian is also known as dead nettle, but it is another perennial. Foliage also makes a great ground cover that will spill over and does those beautiful little white blossoms on it. So if I, so then do I put, I think what I want to do is I'm going to put this lamian a little bit closer to the caladium because this is more white than green, so they'll have a contrast here. And then this is the new introduction for next year. So I'm trialing this plant. This is the Proven Accents Illusion Penny Lace. And Penny Lace obviously is a nice black sweet potato vine. Really, really dissected leaves. It's going to be more, they've tried to breed it so it's a little bit more moundy and full and not such a crazy, vigorous spiller. Even if it does spill, which of course it will, like 2 to 3 feet, I think, I want the more action to be on this side than on this side because the front door is right here. So I believe I'm going to stick it here, and the color contrast between the purple, the black sweet potato vine and the grass is really nice. I like that. And the shape of the leaves is different. So you see where my brain kind of goes. And then I have one more little pocket for a splash of color. This is the Rocapuco purple. Now, I know right now it is not in full bloom because bless its heart, it's been a little neglected. It's been stashed away, but you can see that it does have a gorgeous deep purple double blossom on it. Really, really popular plant, especially for my shade gardens because you get massive color and it is a double bloom. It's really pretty, and we will stick that right here so we have that pink. I think that's what I'm going to do. This is my plan. So what I'm going to do is basically just plant them. Just move the soil out of the way, plop them in, and then I will top dress with my compost, my land and sea, and I will see you back here in just a minute. All right, my friends, the front porch planters are complete. I got the aquapot all done. I got the fern down there on the bottom, and then I didn't show you that earlier this morning. I got a little ahead of myself, got a little excited, and I planted up a trough of caladiums. But front porch completely done, got it all nice and washed off. The hanging baskets are doing really well. If you will remember, these are the ones that I potted up early in the greenhouse in early spring, and then I let them fill in. So they are doing fantastic. Let me flip the camera around and I'm going to show you how everything looks a little bit up close. Here we have the aquapot. Now I know, like right now, the planting is a little small looking, right? The plants kind of get a little lost in there. It is not the most impressive planting right off the bat. I will completely agree with you, but you have to have a vision when you garden, and I have a vision about this container because the Pegasus begonia in the back is going to get nice and full. It is going to get really big and nice and full. Caladium is going to get nice and mounding. The Lamian is going to fill over, as is the new penny lace sweet potato vine. We're going to have mass color with the double impatiens, the Rocapucos, and then of course the feather falls will spill over. So it is going to give a lot of color and texture and interest to this spot, and since we do have a red front door, I think all the colors will go very nicely together. And then down here we come on down, and in front of each of the windows I have plants. So the one I did not show you, the one I did earlier this morning, is a little cedar trough that is probably only, it's not even probably 10 inches wide, but it is 24, maybe 30 inches long. And I alternated between the Scarlet Flame and the Snowdrift Caladium. I want to say that's Scarlet Flame. This is why, people, it is so important for you to come and put your tags right here. Yes, see, Scarlet Flame. So even if I get it wrong, there you go. The Snowdrift, of course, is the same one that I used in the aquapot, and it is a shade lover. Scarlet Flame will do either sun or shade. They will get nice and full and huge and fill in this space really, really nicely. And then behind Brenna over here, we have the Boston fern that we put in a pot. Go ahead and full disclosure. Can you see through the window right there? Can y'all tell what that is? What month is this? What are those? Yeah, that's how Jenny's life's going right now. Oh, my word. Anyway, I digress. I knew y'all were going to see it, so I just would show it to you anyway. The trick with the putting in the pot to make your form was absolutely genius. So you smart gardeners out there who came up with that idea, thank you very much. That will save me a ton of work in the future. But the Boston fern will get nice and full. We of course have lots of room in there. You would never know that it is sitting on the risers. And in fact, did you know that the trough was sitting on risers as well? So it's going to look really nice. You can see that I have a hydrangea getting ready to bloom. This is the Starlight. I believe it was Let's Dance Starlight from Proven Winners. It is a lace cap. And because we are so acidic, you can tell that it's going to be, of course, blue. So this is really fun. She has been here for several years now, but just covered in blooms. So excited about that. Look at that. Oh. Of course, I'll keep you updated. We're going to come in this space here really soon and get this shade garden all taken care of and ready for the summer. As always, we appreciate you so much. Hope you have enjoyed today's video, learned a little something. But as always, thanks so much for gardening with Creekside. Y'all have a great day, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.